that those weapons that were used were built, and the M16 was built for war. It's not built for civilians. Okay, that's just plain and simple. And I would have to say that, like I said, we found out that Social Security is going to change. Anyone who does any business with Social Security, or gets a check from Social Security, or does any business with the federal government, this is so vague the way this was written into the bill, that they're going to take all your bank information. The United States government's going to have all your bank information. Okay, they have a lot of your information, but there's certain things that they don't have up to date. Well, now all that information is going to be in one place in the government. Whereas before it used to be divided up into different sections. You had your tax stuff, your stock stuff was in another deal, your house stuff was in another deal, your medical stuff was in another deal, from my understanding of that. Well, now it's all in one person, and one person has that. Well, you can't have people having all that. You can't have the IRS having all those other things, and you can't have other people knowing your IRS stuff. Okay? That's set up for a reason. That was the checks and balances, people. That's the regulations. That's what keeps us from having someone take over the country. That's trying to happen now. That's just blown through all the norms. But the way it's so vaguely written that eventually how to get us off the dollar and on the crypto, at least my opinion is, the way that I see it, because it's so vaguely written, is that they will be able to say, as a corporation, because corporations own the banks. So as corporations come together, well, we got to make rules because, well, only these banks will do this, will accept this. Because we know the corporations are working with the government right now with this administration like never has before in the history other than in the 30s. Okay, and in the 1800s during the robber baron years and stuff like that. Okay, the way it's set up and the way it's so vague, they will literally be able to say, okay, these are the banks, these are the only banks that will accept any checks from. Okay, these are the banks that the banks will be able to say to you, well, these are the only companies that will accept checks from. They'll have that power. Okay, the way this law is written. So eventually they can pare you down from the different banks to where we have a few banks. And when you have a few banks, just like it always is with capitalism that's not well regulated, they consolidate down. Just like our food, we don't have a wide variety as what we used to have. Okay, people who process our food and everything else. That's less. You're looking at handfuls of companies that do that in this country. Handfuls. That's in your meat, your vegetables, all your stuff that's produced. Handful of companies. Not dozens of companies, handfuls. Used to be hundreds. Now it's handfuls that do the major producing of the food in this country. Okay, slaughtering of our animals. Okay, of our milk and things like that. That's what's going on. Do you understand what they can do? They can eventually say, okay, we will only accept crypto through this. Well, by accepting just crypto, then they're going to have to be on crypto. Then they say, well, we're only going to take it from these banks. Well, eventually that's all pared down. There ain't no other little banks you're going to go to. Lock out the, the little banks, neighborhood banks, and then they'll knock out the credit unions. Yeah, that'll all go away because they'll make any stupid little rule, say any damn little thing they want, and say those people can't, because they're not big enough, or whatever their stupid little regulation they make. That's how this law is written. It can really screw up America and turn us over to them. We also know private prisons are being built. That's the number one thing on the stock market that is actually making money. And on the stock market that's showing profit. They're building private prisons. Okay? We know this is that when they screw up the economy so bad, because the farmers, to give you another instance, okay, they're going to give $40 billion to Venezuela, which got our contracts to sell to China because of the tariffs, all our soybeans and stuff. Okay, that's fact. There's no disputing it. So now as the farmers go out of business, vice presidents, companies, and other corporations buy up all the land, where do you think the farmers are going to go? Well, when they're when you no longer can make any money and you're poor and you've got to feed your family, eventually you're going to steal to feed your children. I know I would. Don't want to. But if there's no jobs and you got to steal it to feed your kids so they got something to eat and you got to feed an infant, you get caught. Well, when you get caught, where are you going to send? They're going to send you to a private prison. Well, that same corporation owns farmland. Where you think you're going to go work at? You're going to go work on the farm. We just created a slavery system all over again. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. We're looking at that right now. It's moving that way. I mean, there is, again, like BlackRock, the biggest corporation there is in the world, has a piece in thousands, I'm talking thousands, if not 10,000 corporations around the world. They're literally trying to be the biggest corporation to own every freaking thing. These people, when they consolidate down, they consolidate and consolidate till there's only one corporation. Well, guess that. BlackRock's the biggest right now, so if they become the biggest and they get to buy everything up and own everything in the land and housing and everything else, guess who you owe your soul to? Don't worry about the company store anymore. When you're in the coal mines, it'll be BlackRock and all these other corporations you owe your soul to. And they will create the laws, make the laws, they will enforce the laws, they will put you in the jail, and you will be picking crops. That's what you'll do. That's what we're coming to, people. So, that's my belief. You can go check out what I'm saying. Don't believe me. Okay, also, to get good information, like I said, King's March was just great yesterday. It's going to set records as the largest number of people protesting in the history of this country. Okay? The only other bigger protest than that was the Civil War. Okay? And we don't want to do that. Okay? It's not no time for that, to do that yet. Okay? And like I said, but I was happy. I was really thrilled. It brought joy to my heart for yesterday. And, but I got tired out walking the hills of Jefferson City. Wore me out. And I'm hoping I'll try to bring some happier. I'm going to try to create once a week, hopefully in the future, that I can give you some good things that are going on in the world, and some happy things, make you laugh, bring some joy to not just all bad stuff, but there is bad stuff, because we got to report it. You got to say it. You need to listen to like things like Glenn Kirshner, Midas Touch, Democracy Now, Stephanie Miller Show, Tennessee Brando. There's a lot of good people out there. Brian Tyler Cohn. Even Bulwark out there is good. Republicans that have left the Republican Party and stuff, they're good. There's still some good people out there. Okay, even on that side. Even Rick Wilson has realized his mistakes that he made that got us to here. And I'm happy about that. And he's trying to make it better. So I will give him that. But they got a long way to go. Because it took us a long way to get here. So we're going to take us a long way to probably get back out of this. It's going to take decades, the damage that he's done. Okay? And then you got to understand this, people. Senator, God, he's the leader in the Senate. And God, I'm trying to think of his name. I just had his name. But anyway, they're proposing to bail out the farmers with the tariff money. Do you understand what that is? The tariff money, we pay that. No foreign country pays that. If you believe that, you're an idiot. Okay? Plain and simple. Okay, they're proposing to take the money that we pay in to bail out the farmers, that over 80% of those people voted for this. Yeah, voted for this. And we're going to bail them out. And then President Trump keeps trying to tell us that we have $17 trillion that he took in with all this since he's been in office, which is bullshit. Okay? Plain and simple. There's no $17 trillion. He's selling watches. He's selling all kinds of Chotsky crap out of the White House. Okay? He's trying to get that ballroom built by billionaires and millionaires, and might as well put a fucking sign out in front of it and say, brought to you by AAA, whatever hell they want to say, corporation. Okay? That's what's going on. He's trying to turn the White House into Mar-a-Lago North. That's what the fuck he's trying to do. This man is a creep. Total creep. We've tried to tell you that for years. And you people didn't believe us, and look where we're at. Eggs ain't got cheaper. Yeah, gas might have got cheaper, but people, who does he take money from? The oil people. He takes a lot of money. He made a deal with them. Okay, now we have another thing. We have an air base going to be put up by Qatar in Utah. Yeah. These are the same people in 2017 he said that all of these, that Qatar was a terrorist state. That's what he said until they gave him money. Yeah, you can be bought. That's what they do. He got caught on a hot mic trying to make a deal with an Asian country, and I think it's Sumar it's next to Vietnam, some one of the countries that's next to that. It might have been Laos, I'm not sure. But they were going to make a deal. He gets a hotel with his name on it and gets paid money, and they get a deal. Those countries do. That's what he does. He just got done putting 100% tariffs back on China. Do you understand who this hurts? It doesn't hurt China. China's already took its markets elsewhere. It hurts us. We pay the tariffs on that shit. 100% of that we pay. Okay, that's how tariffs work. Go look it up. And for all the maggots today, go read a book, please. And not a nudie book, not a comic book. Read a book. Without pictures. Please. And hopefully I'm going to try to get, as soon as I figure out how to do the technology, I got some videos that I shot at that thing. It ain't much, but I shot a little bit of video. It was pouring down rain up in Jefferson City. It was just pouring. We had to leave because we started getting thunder and lightning, so that's the reason it had to be canceled early and stuff, so we couldn't stay very long. Stuff, because it rained hard yesterday. I mean, it rained hard. And but even in all the rain, that was the happiest of all the protests that I've been to, and I've been going to them since January. That's the happiest protest that I've seen out of all of them. So to me, that made me feel good. That heart in my heart. And it made this old girl happy. And so till tomorrow, till I go bang my my democracy and freedom pot, I'll see you, and y'all have a good evening. And this is me from Southwest Missouri signing off. Thank you.